Waters.
Here.
Gretkin.
Here.
Moore.
Here.
Shaner.
Here.
Scott.
Here. Can we stand for a moment of silent prayer followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll go right to the consent agenda today, which is items 2 through 11B. Consider them passed unanimously unless a separate roll call votes asked for by a council member. If you want to speak on any item on the agenda, please come up as I read. If you want to speak on an item not on the agenda, please come up under citizen concerns. Be sure and state your name and address for the record. I'll move the consent agenda. Second. Reading of the September 20th and 22nd City Council minutes. Motion acknowledging the September 14th Board of Adjustment actions. A is a resolution adopting construction documents for the Milwaukee Road Shops Historical District and Museum Trail Improvements Project. 5 is a resolution inviting proposals for an easement in the combined Floyd River urban renewal area, announcing the intent to accept the proposal of Mid-America Energy and scheduling a hearing property at 3500 28th Street.
Mayor, I'm going to abstain on that item for conflict of interest.
6 are actions relating to grants. A is a resolution accepting a cooperative agreement with the APA for the Brownfield Assessment Grant Program. B is a resolution accepting a grant agreement from IDOT to assist the terminal improvements at the airport. C is a resolution accepting the Air Service Development Grant from IDOT to assist with marketing efforts at the airport. D are resolutions accepting the impaired driving countermeasures grant from the Department of Public Safety for overtime hours and presentations directed to pedestrian safety enforcement. 7 are actions relating to street closures. A is a resolution temporarily closing various streets in the downtown area October 1st for the Chamber of Commerce event at the Orpheum. Motion requested to delete this item. The event was canceled. Wait a minute, what, are you saying that parade for Siouxland Christians canceled?
No, that was the Chamber.
Chamber.
Okay, all right, okay. B is a resolution temporary closing various.
We need
We need a motion. and a
I'll
second.
move that then, okay.
Gretkin.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
Shaner.
Aye.
Scott.
Aye.
Waters.
Aye.
B is a resolution temporary closing various streets in the Morningside area October 1st for the Siouxland Christian School Homecoming Parade. C is a resolution temporarily closing various streets in the downtown area for the October 8th for the Fallen Firefighters Memorial Event. 8 are actions relating to agreements and contracts. A is a resolution approving a residential property management agreement with NAI United for airport property management services. B is a resolution approving amendment number 1 to the service provider agreement with Siouxland Testing Services for the Myrtle Street reconstruction project. C is DGR Engineering. 1 is a resolution approving a consulting services agreement with DGR Engineering for the Whispering Creek Drive repaving project. 2 is a resolution approving amendment number 1 to the consulting services agreement with DGR Engineering for the Northern Valley Crossing Regional Stormwater Improvements project. 9 are actions authorizing payments. A is a resolution authorizing payment to Sioux City Engineering for the Pierce Street reconstruction project. B is a resolution approving settlement of the workman's comp claim and authorizing payment.
Mayor,
Yeah.
I'm going to abstain on that item, conflict of interest.
I should have sent you guys this. I don't know where the engineers are, but Dave, this thing was like your quantities were like 200,000 under on
Which
this.
item's that?
On item 9A. Don't need an answer today, but just tell me how your engineering department could have missed been 200,000 under on quantities. Okay, I should have gotten to you earlier. Purchasing number 10, A is a resolution awarding a purchase order to Stu Hansen Dodge for 2 pickups. B is a resolution awarding a purchase order to Stephen Truck for 2 hydraulic breakers. 11 are applications for beer and liquor license. See the list come forward if you have questions.
Mayor, I'm going to abstain on 2B.
Okay. Anyone to be heard on any of those items? Pass 5-0 unless otherwise noted. Appointments to boards, commissions, and committees. 12 is a motion appointing Abigail Cortez to the Human Rights Commission to complete the balance of a 3-year term expiring on June 30th, 2023. I'll move that.
Second.
Passes 5-0. Recommendations of Planning and Zoning. 13 is a hearing and ordinance dedicating 1702 George Street as a public right-of-way alley. P&Z recommends approval. I'll move that.
Second.
Hearing's now open. Anyone to be heard? Go ahead.
Jason Gary, Planning and Zoning. The item for both 13 and 14 basically are cleanup items where the city of Sioux City is the petitioner, and we're vacating some space that we realized needed to be vacated so that it can transfer to somebody else.
Thank you.
Anyone to be heard? Hearing is closed. Passes 5-0. Is anybody opposed to waiving the statutory rule?
No.
I'll move that.
Second.
Moore,
Aye.
Shaner. Aye. Scott.
Aye.
Waters.
Aye.
Gretkin.
Aye.
I'll move second and third.
Second.
Passes 5-0. 14 is a hearing and ordinance vacating the intersection of east-west and north-south alleys of 1021 Douglas Street. P&Z recommends approval of this item. I'll move it.
Second.
Hearing is now open. Anyone can be heard. Same thing.
Yep, same thing.
Passes 5-0. Is anybody opposed to waiving the statutory rule?
No.
I'll move it.
Second.
Shaner. Aye. Scott.
Aye.
Waters.
Aye.
Gretkin.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
I'll move second and third.
Second.
Sorry.
Passes 5-0. 15 is a hearing and ordinance rezoning 4729 Harrison Street, the petitioner's hands property management. P&Z recommends approval. I'll move that.
Second.
Hearing's now open.
So this one, I'm going to cover 15 and 16 together because they're tied together. We're doing the petitioner came forward to replat the property, no longer going to be selling off the individual lots. And then, of course, we notified the properties. A lot of the written comments we received really didn't have anything to do necessarily with this site, but rather other issues with the developer and on another side of the property. So there weren't any real comments to this. No one showed up to the meeting to object. And then the rezoning, because the land is now larger, it no longer fits inside the zoning that it was previously zoned at. So we rezoned it to the NC1. And so no other objections were heard.
Anyone to be heard? Hearing is closed. Passes 5-0. Is anybody opposed to waiving the statutory rule?
No.
No.
I'll move that.
Scott.
Aye.
Waters.
Aye.
Gretkin.
Aye.
Moore.
Aye.
Shaner.
I move second and third.
Second.
Passes 5-0. 16 is a resolution approving the final plat of Moose Creek, second edition. I'll move that. Second.
Make it quick for you.
Passes 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hearing, 17 is a hearing and resolution approving plans and specs for the Floyd Sanitary Sewer Interceptor Cleaning and Televising Project. I'll move that.
Second.
Anyone to be heard? The hearing is open. Seeing none, the hearing is closed. Passes 5-0. 18 is a hearing and resolution approving plans and specs for the utility lining improvements project. I'll move that.
Second.
Hearing's now open. Anyone to be heard? Seeing none, the hearing is closed. Passes 5-0. 19 is a hearing and resolution approving plans and specs for the Tyson Event Center Water Softener Replacement Project. I'll move that.
Second.
Hearing is now open. Anyone to be heard? Seeing none, the hearing is closed. Passes 5-0. 20 is a resolution approving First Amendment to the parking license agreement with Badgerell Developer. I'll move that.
Second.
We get a status on when they're going to start construction?
Mayor, Marty Doherty, Economic Development. I've talked to the developer in the last few weeks a few times, and they had their design is complete. They took bids. I know Klinger is the low bidder, and I believe they plan to start construction in October. I think they wanted to finish up a couple things with their financing, but I think they're pretty much ready to go here shortly. So the other good news about the project was they did receive $1 million from the Iowa Workforce Housing Tax Credit.
Oh, good.
That was just announced last week. By the way, I think there were four of the 6 projects that were submitted in Sioux City received funding on that.
Did receive funding?
Four.
Good.
A couple that didn't.
Get us a
This round.
memo on who those are.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thanks, Marty.
Passes 5-0. 21 is a resolution accepting the offer of the sale of land from Craig and Sheryl Durup for 2276 Allison Avenue in connection with the South Bridge Business Park Expansion Project. Somebody else have to move that.
Move it. Second.
They do, they gotta come. You don't have to have it. It's not a hearing. Passes 4-0 to 1. I abstain. The Durups are my neighbors. Citizen concerns, Tom Anderson, I'm sorry. Tom, come on up. We got your name and address. Tell us what you, does this go with it? Okay, all right. Go ahead.
There's a two-sheet diagram there that might help you if you want to follow along. The second is a diagram that the DOT has put out, preliminary plan-wise. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here today to call your attention to the Iowa DOT's proposal to scrap the current 2075 Cloverleaf on the east end of Sioux City and replace it with a diamond interchange with 2 stoplights on Highway 20. Right now, the current Cloverleaf functions very efficiently, moving traffic in and out of Sioux City on Highway 20 at 45 miles per hour with no stoplights. The Cloverleaf has a curved exit on-ramp from 75 north to 20 east that quickly moves a tremendous amount of truck traffic from I-29 in Nebraska at 50 miles per hour away from the center of the intersection and to the east on 20. The IDOT will eliminate that curved ramp and dump all of that truck and car traffic into the middle of the intersection at a stoplight that will probably have a cycle time of at least 2 to 3 minutes. Truck traffic has tripled on Highway 20 since the 4 lanes were completed. Semi-trucks, and especially fully loaded semi-trucks, do not move quickly from a dead stop up to speed at 55 miles per hour. That will cause traffic to pile up at that intersection from every direction with long backups during morning and evening rush hours, with people being late to work and resulting driver frustration. There will be rear-end collisions with huge backups and traffic jams with no way around. The inside loop in the northwest quadrant of the Cloverleaf that moves traffic at 30 miles per hour from the east to 20 west will also be eliminated, causing a huge backup going up the hill to the east on 20, which will be very dangerous for chain reaction rear-end collisions at 55 miles per hour. The icy, snowy, dark, and foggy wintertime conditions will dramatically increase the chances of big and tragic rear-end collisions that will result in serious injuries and fatalities. Sioux City Police, fire, and ambulance crews will be in danger of the same while trying to help those victims. Environmentalists will be thrilled to know that hundreds, if not thousands, of gallons of diesel fuel and gasoline will be burned every day more than now. Every day. I'm asking the City Council to stop the IDOT and SIMCO from implementing this really bad design change and stay with the present Cloverleaf. Also, SIMCO is planning to put its new building on the northeast corner of the Cloverleaf, where there should be a curved exit on-ramp from 20 westbound to 75 north for vastly improved safety. Please have the city legal department stop this bad design change with an injunction, if necessary, for the safety and convenience of all of the tri-state Siouxland drivers. I'd be glad to meet with you afterwards if you've got questions as to how this diagram works, but I'm really concerned that this is going to be far worse than what we have now. I've been down here and talked to you and other city officials before about the curved exit ramp that I would like to see in the northeast quadrant, okay? And that should have been part of the original design 20 years ago. But right now, that's a sharp 90-degree corner, and traffic has to slow down very quickly, down to 15 or 20 miles an hour, and in the wintertime, that's almost an impossibility. But what they're proposing now is going to be far worse because it's going to cause traffic backups and problems every day, okay? And for the life of me, I don't understand why they're doing this. But anyway, there it is. Like I say, I'd be happy to answer questions or talk with you later.
We know about this, Dave? This is news to me. Yeah, Mr. Anderson,
Technically, this is outside the city limits right now. They're looking to annex into the city limits for their new, this is where they're planning to take all their facilities and put them into one, get rid of the,
New headquarters.
yeah, the new headquarters.
I'm
that-
well aware of all that, but do we know they're proposing this?
Yeah,
This is
but it-
off of their design website.
like I said, it's
This sheet-
outside of our city
This
limits
sheet
right
on the
now.
slide pass. If you, Mr. Anderson brought it to my attention a while back, and my question for you, Mr. Anderson, have you talked to anybody at the DOT, like in the last 30 days or so? Dakin Schultz, I think, was on.
Yes, I talked to Dakin a
vacation?
couple months ago.
Well, but more recent than that?
No. But this design diagram is from the website 2 or 3 days ago. Okay, so that's what the plan is that the Iowa DOT is proposing.
What absolute difference does it make whether it's inside the city limits or not inside the city limit if it's going to affect traffic? And it will be inside the city
Yeah.
limits, because somewhere I saw they're petitioning to come inside the city
Yeah,
limits.
they are. They're
So
currently.
don't tell me about that,
Oh.
Dave. I'm guessing that we signed off on this.
No, we didn't, we don't have any, this is two
They
jurisdictions.
didn't come to us and say, what do you think?
I've discussed it with Dakin, it wasn't as, that there are 2 DOT jurisdictional roadways right now.
Mayor and Council, Nicole DuBois, City Attorney, we have been approached to look at a 2080 agreement with the county for exercise of concurrent jurisdiction for the planning phase, but that agreement has not been finalized. It's just been proposed as a draft at this point. We would bring it to the council if it advanced that far. It'd have to be voted on by the council. The idea was that the planning board would be involved prior to the annexation. They have applied for annexation of that area for the new facilities. And I believe it's being heard by Planning and Zoning shortly. Jeff could probably comment on that.
So at this point, though, we have no jurisdiction over the project until it's annexed.
That's right. Well, unless there's a cooperative agreement that's signed with the county authorizing the city to have jurisdiction.
Jeff Hansen, Community Development Operations Manager. Tomorrow at the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, we have an item for the zoning upon annexation for the property of the facility of Simcoe Certs and the Iowa DOT. That's just simply a procedural item for the zoning, and then the annexation process will begin following that with the proper notifications sent out both to the property owners as well as the journal notifications and such, and then that'll be brought back at a later date. We're expecting November, early December to have that brought back. But in either case, the Planning and Zoning Commission would not review or make any recommendations on the actual interchange. They're simply looking at the zoning of the site where the facility is at.
Well, who would then have authority over the design?
I would agree
We'll
with
never
Dave
have authority.
that
because that's
the Iowa
our
DOT
vote.
has,
Right, because it's a DOT.
And they can do whatever they want to do.
Except when citizens object and bring up good objections. We have to have a say. And
When are
this
they
is,
going to have a public hearing on this?
I think it's in public comment now. I think that's what you're referring to in the
Yes.
website.
It is.
But I don't
There
know
is
if that's just a public comment period or at the end if there's a meeting or not. I'm not sure of that.
I think they've
I
at least
did go
had
to
one public meeting on this, but that was a while ago.
Dave, what's the timeline on the project? Are they going to be, on the proposal, are they going to be doing the interchange at the same time they're doing their,
That's my understanding.
is it?
I'm not sure what their total timeline on all their modifications are, but
they're also going to bid the Simcoe building, I think, in November. And I want to get this done and stopped before that, because if they plop that Simcoe building in that northeast quadrant, it could affect putting in a curved exit ramp in that northeast quadrant, which should have been done 20 years ago. That's really dangerous in the wintertime.
Yep, to go northbound on the bypass?
Yes, yes. And I've had friends tell me they hate that corner and that they will bypass that corner and come into Sioux City on Gordon Drive so they won't slide into traffic that's stopped at that stop sign there. And, you know, it's just that bad. People are afraid of that corner, but that's the only thing wrong with this cloverleaf. If we could get them to put that curved exit ramp in, this cloverleaf would be great, and I wouldn't have any objection. But the Diamond Interchange are proposing with 2 red stoplights is going to stop people every 2 to 3 minutes. And with all that huge amount of truck traffic coming into that stoplight that's now going east on 20, you're going to have backups clear out on the interstate or on the 4-lane. And that will happen because there will be trucks that move very slowly through that red light intersection.
their modifications also include grade changes to improve sight distance. And also with the current northbound ramp that goes to eastbound 20, we will, when we connect Glen Ellen, we'll have limited access at that point. Right now, it's a full access with the Cornerstone Church, but when that connects to Glen Ellen, they're going to reduce it down due to traffic counts to a limited access unless that high-speed ramp goes away.
Opposed to it.
Yeah, we would want the full intersection at Glen Ellen, which would mean the high-speed ramp would go away. The current northbound high-speed ramp on the Gordon Drive.
Onto 20, yeah, onto 20 or that, yeah.
I guess you're going to have to tell me what that actually means, because I don't.
I mean, you could slow
Because
the
I
traffic
think he's
down.
saying the ones where you're going north and then you would hop on 20 to go eastbound.
Correct.
If you keep that high-speed exit that does that, you're not going to get a full interchange at
Intersection, yeah.
or intersection at
Glen Ellen.
Glen Ellen or whatever it is.
Well, then that really limits our future development.
Exactly. So
you're-
that's why you
you're
want to
for
do,
this plan.
Yeah.
you want to do away with the high speed.
I
so
don't
that you
understand that. You've got there's a lot of clearance there that makes no sense to me.
That's been discussed, yeah, that's,
Mayor and council, at our upcoming retreat, Dakin Schultz is going to be there for another matter, and we can have him address and discuss.
It might be too late. When is that?
Is it the
14th?
14th of October?
Well, I'd like to make sure that it's not too late at that point in time.
I can get more information from you, for Dakin from you.
But I'm not buying what you just said. I'm sorry. I'm not.
That's been.
I know what they're saying, but that's baloney, because that's a mile away.
I'd have to go look at the,
Well, it's a pretty good distance away, so they're looking for an excuse to make it limited access. They just won't make it limited access all the way through the corridor then. If they wanted that, they should build overpasses. Well, they should.
There's plenty of storage room on that curved exit ramp now, and you could put a speed limit on that of 40, 45 and slow the traffic down. That would help tremendously, but it'd be a whole lot better to do that than to dump it into a diamond interchange with stoplight. I guarantee you, you're gonna have massive problems every day there if they do that, especially in the wintertime.
All right, well, this is kind of news to all of us, so let us get a little background and we'll get back to you.
Give me a call, I'd appreciate it. I'd be
Okay.
glad to work with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you think we could have that presentation next Monday on October 4th? I mean, because he already has the plans, Dakin does, he's familiar with them.
Yeah, that's what I don't know why not.
Well, then we could just call him here instead of,
Yeah, see if he
the
can come
retreat.
next week.
Why don't we see if we,
And if
Could we
he
just
is-
have a
if he is,
conversation
make sure you
here?
let Mr. Anderson know. Okay. Any other citizens to be heard? Please come to the microphone, state your name and address. Seeing none, council, Mr. Gretkin.
I just wanted to clarify the retreat now that Bob mentioned the 14th. I had it as the 19th. Did it get changed back to the 14th?
maybe it's,
Let me confirm with Jessica, and I will send
Okay.
out an email in the morning.
Thank you. I have nothing else, Mayor. Thank you.
Julie.
I just wanted to revisit one of the items that was on the agenda today. We
Nice.
both through it kind of quickly. Not revisit, I just want to discuss it, bring it to everyone's attention. That the city received a $300,000 grant, and that came from the EPA. And what that money will be used for by our neighborhood services, they will evaluate some sites that are damaged and contaminated here in the city. It'll be where the Boys and Girls Home, Old St. Joe Hospital, Feed Energy, the mechanical building downtown. And what's going on is these buildings are old and we'd like to see them developed. They are contaminated with asbestos, so what this money will go towards is a firm to come in and evaluate the sites to see what can be done about cleaning them up so that they can be developed and repurposed by others to put a better use to them. So I'm really excited about that, especially that hospital area. I would love to see a developer pick up on that and truthfully demolish it and put it back into a nice little neighborhood in there. So these are first steps to cleaning up some of our dilapidated sites and blighted sites in Sioux City. So I'm very happy that we got the grant. It's just really moving city forward on some of these old properties that are sitting empty. So that's all I have.
Okay, Alec.
yeah, the only thing I wanted to bring up is it was a busy weekend in Sioux City. One of the events that I went to was the Alley Art Festival downtown. It was great, and I really appreciate Ed Pickens had reached out about leveling out some of the alleys down there, make it a little more navigable. But I do think we need to address the lighting if we can continue to work with downtown partners and some of those organizations to be able to improve the safety and security of that. I think it would, and then people can enjoy the artwork a lot more. So it was a great event, a lot of people going through downtown, so it was a lot of fun. That's all I have, Mayor.
Moore.
I have nothing further,
I
Mayor.
move we adjourn.
Second.
Waters,
Aye.
Gretkin,
Aye.
Moore,
Aye.
Shaner,
Aye.
Scott.
Aye.
So who is it?
Thanks, everyone.